it moves. So it doesn't have the future. Future is just a model that is created in human head. But the information, when it works in the body, it uses the same chemical repertoire and organization the way I am afraid of the stimulus and response of life. If a snake tries to attack me, if a tiger tries to attack me, my body has to respond. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. It is a very primary important thing. Now, in doing so, the same thing, if somebody says, tomorrow you are going to die, the same information uses the same chemical repertoire to create a fearful situation. You see? But it is false, because the false is because it created a future which doesn't exist. So it is in terms of a myth. So the mind that we have, it creates constantly a myth, a mythical future. So that's why the mind itself is a myth. But practically what it is doing is, it is a myth-making machine. We want to create a myth. We are not satisfied by thinking that Yuji was just an ordinary man like us. We are not happy about that. But that is what I felt to my core, that is what he was telling me all the time. And telling everybody all the time. That there is nothing that I have that you don't have. And which is the truth, the fundamental truth, the basic truth. And it cannot be any other way. Because nature is not created by our ideas. Idea came much later. And the nature which is now operational in the form of life everywhere is far, far superior and way back in its construction. So what gives an idea of a man whose thought itself is not controlling anything inside will do anything to other? It is impossible. It is you and you alone. You do not even know. If you close your eyes, you are not in touch with anything that is going on there. You can call it Brahman, because you can never be. It is only through the knowledge that you know that you have a brain, you have a neuron, you have this, you have that. Doctors told this, you, as you know yourself, are never in touch with this body. That is, and you know this also, if something happens to this body, the one who thinks is going to go for the good.
No, that when Yuji said that, I am just ordinary.
Yes.
Just like you
Just
function.
like all of us.
We don't know how you are functioning.
I don't have to know.
No. See,
I don't have to know. It is a simple thing.
It is.
I do not know myself with all my effort. When something was going on in me, with all my effort, I wanted to know what is going on in me. I never was in touch with what the hell I will imagine about what is going on in Yuji. Tell me. I myself do not ever know.
It makes no difference. That statement makes no difference.
Exactly.
Saying that I am the same as you, it is, if I think what I think.
No, that means it is a meaningless thing as far as I am concerned.
Exactly.
Because I am unable to be in touch with what I know myself as what goes on inside me.
Impossible. You can never be in touch with that.
So what gives me any idea that I want to be like somebody? Tell me.
Yeah.
Isn't it totally fictitious and false?
It is only to throw, but kind of light on that it is impossible to be in touch with anything.
Actually, if you what you're saying,
because you are already in touch with that.
You don't need to. You don't need to.
No.
Exactly. You don't need to. You
have given a long explanation. If 2 words is enough, there is no entity. That's all.
Exactly.
So why give a long explanation? Not required.
Because the information also is somehow working inside you the way the body wants to protect itself.
But who
That
cares
is the
for
problem.
that?
You don't have to.
Yeah, but who cares for that?
If you don't care, then it is all simple.
That's what it is.
But
if you give an explanation to it,
but why
then it becomes more complicated.
Why am the thing that appreciates something else in somebody else?
It's
You
their
understand?
problem. It's somebody appreciates something,
Then there is
problem.
nothing. Then there is nothing.
Then from that balance, I do not even know, and I don't even have, my thought does not even have any inkling as to how my heart is beating.
There is no your thought.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as your thought.
No, that's fine. Thought cannot even touch your own heartbeat. This organism heartbeat, so how can we touch anything else?
Yes.
The breath itself, we don't know. It's automatic.
Yeah.
So the organism is far more intelligent, because nature has produced it billions of years ago.
Yeah.
And we, the thought interloper, is aggrandizing somebody else by just a projection. It's an imaginative, it's imaginative reality. Yuji also becomes a myth when Yuji is not there. He's a myth.
But that you are telling now,
Yeah.
not 40 years back or 30 years back.
No, because
So because you have gathered information and you are
Yes,
telling
yes,
now.
But Ram, as far as you are concerned, right now, if you are sitting next to me, you are real. When if Kamal is real, Ram is also real. But these bodies are very much real, no? They are surviving in this physical world.
It has a reality of its own.
Agreed, sir.
I have no way to comment on that.
No, there is no need to
That's
comment.
what.
There is no need to comment.
That's it.
There is no need.
There is no need to comment. The matter is there. What was the most important thing was we all had food because the body needed that. That was the main thing. The
No, but
energy.
what
transfer.
Chandrasekhar sir
Yes.
was telling,
Yes.
that there is no way that you can touch that.
No
If
way.
it has to touch, it touches itself.
Yes.
That's what he was telling.
Other hair-splitting discussions that went on and still go on regarding in the Vedantic text and Vedantic lines. Theoretically, hair-splitting, the thinking, understanding, trying to understand the one which cannot be understood, what is it. That is no different from you are telling that this is the whole thing is the biology and these neurons are acting. You are not in touch with any of those things. You don't know anything.
Then
Just
why
like that.
discuss?
So
Then why
you
discuss?
see,
That
the,
is
pro-
both
the-
will
the-
be-
no, but you see the difference. The difference is if somebody comes and tells me, to hell with your neurons, I don't care. But if they tell to hell with your God, why do you care?
Nobody.
No, nobody cares.
Exactly.
No,
God
nobody
is an
cares
idea.
for
God is
that.
an idea.
Who cares? That is what I was telling. That this is how we discuss. We say brush aside that these are all not to be discussed and discuss about something very much inside us we don't know.
No, how can you discuss that? Might
The
as
same
well,
thing.
might as well
Brahman,
do money.
how can we discuss anything?
No, you don't. But
Discuss
however,
or anything.
however,
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
This brain works with a logic, by the way, and this is human logic. According to human logic, if you proceed, means scientific discovery. Like if you look at the world and if you try to understand how it is working, you will come up to certain very systematic finding, and that is independent of language, independent of culture, independent of religion, independent of anything, and that
Do you say that is a qualitative difference between this and that?
absolutely. If
Difference?
there is no the
There is-
out
I
no
don't say-
I'm telling outcome of this systematic finding, the way the world is working, is called science, and that will be same.
No,
That
no.
will be same
Then
any
that
part
science-
of the religion.
I can say that science exists even in the other field also.
What field?
You have
What
got
field?
people who talked about Brahman and then they have written
No.
books.
They
They
know.
their logic,
They know.
they
their-
have also built up logic. No, you don't know that.
I know. I read it very systematically. I tried to find out. They always.
There is a logic, there is a system.
There is a system, there is a logic,
There is
which
a
is
method.
not as powerful as the modern philosophical logic,
No,
sir.
that
I
is what
know
I'm
that.
telling. That is what I'm asking. Do you think that it has got a qualitative difference? No difference, sir.
No, there is
That
difference.
is exactly the same.
No.
All
They-
the thought structure they have built is these people have no match to that.
No. It is,
Those people have built such a tremendous thought.
No, that you are just telling. But
No, it's not
no,
telling.
If you read
It is
Wittgenstein, if you read Wittgenstein, or if you read any philosophical essays, you will see this logic is far superior than the logic that we had. What they did, listen, what they did, they the logic always extend up to where the scientific information is supplied. Okay? Scientific information is a building block of furthering of the logic. Okay? It is a very important thing. And so at that time, they didn't have all this information that the modern scientists and biologists had to further the logic that the brain scientists are producing to see how it is working inside. Okay? So they are very different. At that time it was not handy. But what they did is very systematically different, is that they wanted to find what happens when you come to the end of that logical expansion. If you come to the end of the logic where your inquiry is not going anywhere else, logically you can't explain. There are certain things also in the world of consciousness that the logic ends there. For example, I will tell you a simple example. We still don't know how the movements of electrochemical forces and other biological forces, we know that it is creating consciousness. We know only that much. There is no one-to-one correspondence. But how it is producing, we don't know. Just the neurons are moving and the seamless world is appearing in front of the eyes. These both are fact. Okay? Now, how it is this fact is created, that we don't know. So, there seems to be end of logic in that sense. Similarly, everywhere, so what they want to do, they want to find out who is the thinker. First, they try to logically, okay, what happens if you don't think? What happens if you don't think? What happens if thought subsides? What happens if thought merges? What happens in Laya Avastha comes? What happens? How it affects the body? Because thinking is a systematic production of energy that is required. If that production of energy somehow is not drained anymore, is there any biological impact of the body? And they found there is, because by thinking you can just get frozen, you can be afraid, your heart palpitation will go terrible, so many things can happen. So even the thought has a very systematic effect on the physical changes, okay, that can occur. Suddenly by thinking you can just begin to faint or get very elated or so many things, because it has effect, direct effect on there. So they wanted to find out what happens if the systematically one can reduce this kind of drainage of energy that is required by constant thinking. Okay, what happens to the body? What happens to the state? So they want to find out, because they can find out logically what happens. So they begin to see that there may be a radical transformation involved in such process. Okay, because it looks like that there is some triggering mechanism can occur and something will happen to the physical organism, and physical organism will show some sign of that process. Okay, it's a process. So what happened is